and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to volume 2 of my Revisitag challenge. I did think I would get more of these videos up between, you know, the first 6 months of the year. I didn't. Here we are. So this is where I have a jar full of tags. I have no idea which tag I'm going to pull out. Obviously you do because it's in the title now, but I don't have any idea what tag I'm going to pull out. There is no prep other than that. I just have the questions in front of me for every tag that is in here. I pull a tag out and you will therefore get my most honest response, and hopefully I can catch up on some of the many tags I have been tagged in over the last 2 years that I have not got to yet. Tag that I will be doing today is the DeadFamous Readalong Tag, which is a tag I created. I created the DeadFamous Readalong Tag as a way to promote my DeadFamous Readalong along with Becca from Book Sanctum. It started off with Emma Novella, also Abby from Chaotic Reader or Chaotic Ellie, Abby from Abbey of Pelennor, and Lizzie from Lizzie as Elf. Thank you, all of you, for jumping in on that read-along. I'm tagging all of you so you can do it all over again, because most of you did that tag. But you're going to do it again because I'm doing it again. And basically what I did is I picked out key characters and then I related a prompt to each of those characters, which I will do again. I have no idea what books I picked the last time I did this tag. I genuinely don't remember what books I picked. So if I pick them again, you'll know better than I did, to be honest. But there are 8 prompts, and then the idea is that you then tag someone else who you think would enjoy Skulduggery Pleasant. So yes. All the people that have done it before, thank you. You can do it again. You're welcome. I think I might also, before we even start, tag Spoops as well, because I have only since finishing the series realised that Spoops is also a massive Skulduggery fan, and I would love to see what books they pick for these prompts. I think it'd be really fun. So the first one is Valkyrie Cain, a book which has an anti-hero or unlikable main character. Now that is not to say that I don't like Valkyrie, okay? I do like Valkyrie, but she is an anti-hero if ever I saw one. So a book with an unlikable female protagonist that I have read recently is probably the main character of Horrid. Jane and Ruth, who are, like, they're basically a mother-daughter who live in this creepy-ass house and have secrets from each other, are both terrible people, and they continue to be terrible people, but this is such a good book that I'm quite excited that I'm able to recommend these bad protagonists / anti-heroes. Next is Skulduggery Pleasant himself, your favourite mystery or thriller. That's trickier because I like a thriller and I like a mystery. I'm pretty sure I picked this one last time, but I'm going to go with The Murder of Graham Catton. This is still my favourite thriller that I've ever read. This is what The Silent Patient by Alexander Michaelides was trying to be. The idea of this woman not knowing if she has actually killed her husband or not, the mixture of both psychological and supernatural elements, like, it just had everything for me. I know it wasn't universally loved, but this is my favourite thriller of all time. For the third prompt, it is China Sorrows, which is a beautiful yet intimidating book. So I'm going to go for a book that I think is beautiful that I have not read yet, because that in itself will make it intimidating. Give me a sec. I'm going to go with The Divines. The Divines very much gives me Fury vibes. It's a dark academia about girls bullying girls. I don't know if it has any supernatural elements in it. I gather it's going to be far more like elitism and nastiness, but it's so pretty. Like, I just love how simple that design is. I just think it's stunning, but it's hella intimidating because I have such high hopes for it that I'm terrified that I'm going to read it and not like it as much as this cover is making me want to like it. Next is Tanith Low, a book with a great fight scene. Book with a great fight scene. I'm going to go controversial. I'm going to say Blackwater Sister. So this is a story about a young woman who moves to Malaysia with her parents after her mum kind of like loses her job and her dad loses her job or something like that, and they move to Malaysia for work. But she has grown up in America and she doesn't really know a lot about Malaysia, and then she starts to be haunted by her grandmother. And there are a few fight scenes in this, but because I wasn't expecting them and they come so out of the fucking blue, it was one of those things where the surprise element was what made them so fun to read. Like, they're swinging pipes, they're like fully brutally hurting people. And considering I read like a lot of high fantasy where there's battle and a lot of like middle grades where there's like, you know, magic fights and stuff like this was the most visceral fight scene I've read in a while, and I really enjoyed it. Not like I'm endorsing violence, but like I enjoyed the book. The next is Ghastly Bespoke, a well-written book, and if it's on this shelf, I thought it was well, no, that's not entirely true. There's quite a few on here, which were not particularly well written, but were just a good time. A well-written book. Okay, right. I'm going to use it as an excuse to talk about it because I love this book with my entire heart. If this doesn't make it as my most favourite book of the year, I will genuinely be surprised. The Beautiful Ones is so underhyped, it's criminal. So everyone talks about Mexican Gothic, which is great. Mexican Gothic is great, but this is arguably better. This is about a young girl who has telekinesis, and she starts to fall in love with a man who also has telekinesis, and she's hoping that he will like teach her the ropes of telekinesis, but also, you know, maybe smooch her just a little bit. Except he is in love with her cousin's wife, so he starts hanging out with her to get to the wife. And it's almost like if Bridgerton had actual class and like a melodrama mixed with like soap opera mixed with telekinesis, and like it's like romantic and it's really well written and it's beautiful. And why are more people not reading this? It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, that'll be my pick for that one. Vaurien Scapegrace, a book that missed the mark, a book that was trying to do something but didn't. See, it feels mean. It feels like a mean. I was mean when I made this tag. Oh, I know. That was almost smooth. This is Interesting Times by Terry Pratchett, and this is the 5th, maybe? Yeah, maybe? Book in the Rin series specifically. There's like 100 books by Terry Pratchett, so I'm doing them kind of like in series as opposed to chronologically. Anyway, this one has so much Orientalism in it that it just didn't seem funny anymore. And it was one of those ones where like, I'm collecting the cloth bounds. I'm really enjoying them, but this was the first one that felt borderline racist in some places and flat out racist in the other. And I can see what Terry Pratchett was trying to do, because there's like this whole like little line at the end where he goes, but I can't possibly be racist because the people who have been cruelest to me were white. And it's like, that doesn't negate all of the Orientalism prior to this, and it just kind of gave me the ick. And the real shame of it is I was reading She Who Became the Sun at the same time, and they were using like mirror phrases, so he's obviously done his research to then be a shithead about it. So I didn't appreciate that, but I do still enjoy the sparkly butterfly on it. So it was a fun read, but it missed the mark because it was trying to do a thing and it just felt icky. Next is Fletcher Ren, a book with lots of settings. I don't massively like a book with lots of settings. If they seem to be just moving from one place to the next, that's boring to me, which I'm almost 100% sure I said the last time I did this tag. Okay, probably will have to be Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo, purely because it follows lots of individual women who are kind of living their individual lives and thus individual settings. This reads like a collection of short stories because it's a collection of snapshots about different women and non-binary people and trans people kind of living their lives and what their version of being a woman looks like, and just the myriad of ways there are to be a woman and what it means to be a woman and the oppressions of women, and specifically the oppressions of women of colour. And I really liked it. I know it wasn't everyone's favourite. I feel like of Bernardine Evaristo's books, this is definitely the most tame, but I found it genuinely funny. There were really heartwarming moments, there were really sad moments, and there were a fuck ton of settings. So, and then the last prompt is Davina Marr, a book with a controversial topic. And I want to talk about Queenie, because I've seen loads of people talking about Queenie again, because People Person by Candice Carty-Williams has obviously recently come out, and everyone is still comparing this to Bridget Jones. And it's not Bridget Jones. It looks at struggling mental health, fat phobia, and slut shaming, and it looks at some really dark, oppressive topics with regards to how women of colour are treated, specifically when they're trying to just live their lives, get through their mental health and fall in love. So there is some really dark dark moments in this, and it's still being treated like it's going to be a cheeky little haha kind of book, which it does have moments of. It is definitely the funniest of the Black contemporary books that I read last year, because I also read Such a Fun Age and Luster by Raven Leilani, and those were tough. I also read The Other Black Girl, which was just bizarre. Of these, this one's my favourite, because I feel like it handled all of those topics with a lot more care than those other ones did, but then also it's a lot easier for me to empathise with this one in particular because it's set in Britain rather than those ones which are set in the US. So I do appreciate there is a level of privilege there that I need to overcome, but still, can we stop comparing this to Bridget Jones? Because in Bridget Jones, yeah, she is mentally unwell, but mainly she is just in love with two guys that she shouldn't be in love with. She should just, you know, sort her own shit out. In this one, she is forced to sort her own shit out because of the horrible things that are happening to her in her attempt to find romance. Like, it's a very different vibe, guys. And controversially, I think it should come with a shit ton of trigger warnings at the beginning, so bear that in mind. So, that's it. That's the end of this tag. Revisitag Volume 2. If I've tagged you, you'll be in the description down below, as will the prompt. If I haven't tagged you and you want to go ahead and do this tag anyway, don't forget to tag me so I can watch and comment and let you know what I thought of your response to this tag. If you treat yourself to something from Waypoint, it supports me and my content. Make sure to like and subscribe, and most importantly, have a nice day.